Mr. Benny. In the last 1 year. The last 1 year being the third anniversary of the second term in office of His Excellency Babatunde Raji Fashola, SAN, in government. And on this note, it is our distinct pleasure and honor to let you know that your revenue administration in the last 1 year from all spheres has inched forward from all spheres. And the details of the major revenue agencies I'll be sharing with you in the course of this briefing. This feat certainly would not have been possible but for the support and confidence reposed in this government by the publics, different publics, paying publics, tax-paying publics, different tax-paying publics that have supported this administration, knowing fully well that it's an administration that can be trusted, and haven't seen what their tax money has been doing for them in the last 6-7 years that this government has been at the head of affairs in the state. So, you all know that even in the Bible, it was said that, I don't have to say that in English, so I'll say the Yoruba version, the chairman, the Canada, will translate to English. They said, oh, you can carry it. So, I mean, without money, there is very little we can do as a government. And I was trying to cite an example of how to sit this well with us as the platform upon which we will rest our briefing this morning. We said, as a state government, we know that the city is congested and there is need to disperse people into different suburbs of the state. Just like you have in other tribes, other areas, wherein you find people who work in the city of London, but they live either in York, in Kent, in Essex, in Milton Keynes, you know. The only reason why they would choose to live in such suburb is that they know that such areas are equally developed. They are quiet for their quiet time when they need it, and that when they need to move to where they need to work in the city of London, there is transportation, mode of transportation that is easy and stressless for them. So they dispersed into different suburbs. Why can't we do it here? It's an idea that your government has been toying with, so that people can live in Badagry, people can live in Damwekwe, people can live in Ikorodu. In fact, people can live in Shagam or Ibadan if there is rain, and they know, or Ibafo, or Ifo, and they know that there is rail that will take them within 30-45 minutes to get back to Lagos, and they will go back. And then the city will be evenly dispersed, and demographics, congestion, everything will be balanced. But these things are there as ideas for us. We've started on them, part of which is what you will see that we are doing at the Okokomaiko area, the red line, the light rail system, which is intermodal, because from there is the cable car that will take you. From there, in Mile 2, there is the waters, the ferries that can take you. Landing at CMS or any of the major, there will be the BRT. So it's going on from that perspective. And if we come back to tell you how much is being sung in terms of investment in that area for your comfort, you will understand the reason why when we say, let us collectively put money into the common pot, such that at the end of the day, that common pot will serve as comfort and security for you and I that would have decided to make Lagos our place of abode. And that's why we say, without money, we have so many ideas. But without money, they cannot crystallize. And the reason why you will need to continue to pay your taxes is because you also take care, you also are particular about your own comfort and your security. There are some parts of this country today such that if the people there are asked to pay 50% and indeed 70% of their earnings for their security, they will barely do as at today. Because the alternative is that they don't, is either they will lose that life or they will not be able to even earn the 100% they are trying to protect, so they will have a 0%. And 30%, if they pay 70%, 30% left for them as disposable income is different from 0%. So it's no brainer. The option will be so clear to them. And that's the premise upon which we are resting this presentation this morning. Your owner's responsibility to your state. Now, I'll go on to review the activities of the agencies that we consider very key to report back to you. There are so many of them, but time constraint will limit us to a few of them. The first one I'll be looking at is the land use charge administrators. The law upon which this charge is based is called the Land Use Charge Law number 11 of 2001. And the land use charge is a consolidation of about 3 laws together. The land-based rates and charges paid under the land rate law, the neighborhood improvement charge, and the tenement charge. The 3 of them have been consolidated now in Lagos State to become the land use charge for ease of administration. Time was, each local government was doing it on their own at different times and without necessary regulations being complied with. So, having described what it is, in the last year, there were about 642,905 enumerated properties. But this, in the new year, in the current year that we are reviewing, about 3,368 new buildings were developed, and so brings total number of enumerated properties as at today in the register of the land use company to about 646,273 in number. Of course, there were also some of the existing properties that were renovated, and so their structure changed either from flats to duplexes or from face-by-face flats, and those in the course of the year totaled about 329. They have been captured in the register of the land use charge. In the last year, about 620,000 of these 646 that we talked about were built, which is slightly different and a reduced number from the 622,000 that were built in the previous year. The reason is that the law also allowed an exemption clause for not-for-profit organizations and some properties for retired people. So when this law was effected, some properties dropped off from the radar of bills. If it's a church that is purely a church and not a church that has a commercial event center or whatever attached to it, it will be exempted from the property tax. Ditto the mosque and the properties of fully retired people, not semi-retired, not that you retire from here, or you retire as a chairman local government and you now become commissioner for information. You are still very active. Okay. Part of the reasons why we also believe that the state will need to do well is to have a listing here. In the event that you are charged or billed for anything in Lagos State, we do not think it's final, and no law says it's final. And so, for you to even go to exercise your rights of objection at the tribunal or wherever you want to go, the state has set up some complaint resolution centers, such that if you have a bill and you do not understand the basis of the bill, or you think the rates applied to the bill are not right, or that the bills are not meant for you at all, the complaint center will be there to listen to you. And that complaint center plays that role in the case of the land use charge in the course of the current year we're reviewing. We had about 27,585 complaints from that area of the land use charge, of which 25,891 were quickly resolved. And of these 25,891, 13,760 of them translated to payments immediately. The other ones are still negotiating their payment. So it tells you that sometimes the complaints are not real complaints. They are a way to defer payment, because even when those complaints were resolved, they still come back to say, please, we do not have the cash flow to pay. Can we have a deferment, 1 month, 2 weeks, and things like that. So sometimes the complaint too, we understand, is not really out of the fact that there is a reasonable ground for objection, but the fact that cash flow is playing games with them. And as a state, sometimes we can be very understanding with ourselves. Establishment of additional zonal offices was also embarked upon. I think we started that about 2-3 years ago. And as at the current year, 6 more new offices were added to make about 18. This is totally in pursuit of a very efficient tax administration system, such that if you want to pay your land use charge, you live in Badagry, you don't need to come to Ikeja to come and face them if you have issues. There can be a zonal office around Badagry that can resolve all matters concerning land use charge if there is any need for you to even visit the office at all. Because quite a lot of the things, once you have served the bill, you don't need, and you have no complaints, you have no issues with them, you don't necessarily need to see anybody. You just take your bill, walk into the bank, and or, which I'm going to talk about, use any of the mode of payments that we have just been piloting right now. The mobile payment, the ATM payment, the internet payment, if you have internet banking, all the e-payment system, you know, from the comfort of your office or your homes, you can effect the payment and then you have nothing to do with it. But if there is any need for you to, and you live far away from Ikeja, you need not to come physically to Ikeja. And so offices have been opened and we will continue to open more. As of today, as in the previous year, we opened 6 additional ones. As of today, we have a total of 18 offices and they are all listed. I want to presume that you have the speech that I'm going through. I'm not reading verbatim. Okay. About 18 of the offices are there listed. So, and the numbers, contact numbers to the offices, even if you do not want to go physically, you can reach them by telephone. Now, for land use charge, there are set lofty goals that we need to achieve in the current year. When we come back this time next year, that will be benchmarking our achievements against. Our goal is that from 646,000 enumerated properties, we are hoping that our people will prosper so well that they will build more, and that properties will go up to about 700 that will be enumerated in the course of this year. And we want to improve the compliance level. We want to believe that we have fully enumerated all enumerable properties in Lagos. We also want to provide e-payment solutions, like I said, to further enhance convenience in it. That is on right now. We are piloting we started piloting with a few banks, but now it's open to all the banks operating in Nigeria as of today. So you can use any of the e-mode of payments to effect your payment of land use charge. When we perfect that, then we now throw it open to the revenue generally in the states. The other agency that we will be looking at right now will be the Lagos State Lottery Board, where I just introduced the executive management. They are saddled with the responsibility of regulating lotteries operations and games of chance generally in the states. The law that empowered them to do same is called the Lagos State Lotteries Law of 2008 as amended. And of course, you will know that there has been tremendous interest and significant increase in this sector in the last 3, 4, 5 years. Clearly, online betting has come to play, sports betting has come to play, lotteries has grown from what it used to be in the past. Even the pools, the regular treble chance, face me, I face you, they are being regulated and they are getting more organized and coming back as a game of chance. So your state is committed to the development of this gaming industry and to maximizing inherent benefits for the stakeholders while setting the pace for lottery regulation in Nigeria. the challenge that we want to face in the course of the year will be that we want, for example now, as of today, there are issues between the federal laws, the National Lottery Regulatory Agency, and the states, not only Lagos State, all the states. The federal is saying it's their responsibility. Constitutionally, that is not right. We're in court at the Supreme Court for the determination of that matter. But a similar matter has just been determined that we will give credence to our position in the court when we go to court. And that's when it was tested by one of the operators of the lotteries, who said to the National that, look, as a company, you have given us exclusive rights to say we will be the one to play in this game in this state. No law has empowered you as national to say you should go and license any other person. The only other person that will license will be the state where you operate. And so they took the National Lotteries Agency to court, and the court determined that of the truth, that body has no business to license that company or any other company for that matter to operate in any state. It's the body of the state to do it. Even though we are not party to that case, but it's a case that has determined where our own case is going and has given us an authority to say, look, if you have the license of this person, of this national body, you can't operate in this state without our own license, because there is a court order or judgment that says that body has no right to license anybody to operate. I don't know if I'm making any sense. So it's an indirect judgment in our favor, even though we are no party to that case. But as I speak to you, we are in court to determine the matter, even at the Supreme Court level, on this issue on our own jurisdiction, such that they will not come. The significance or implication of it is such that the good causes money that comes with the playing of lotteries will go to anyone that issued the license. So if they come to Lagos, Lagos provides the security, Lagos provides the platform, Lagos provides the roads, everything that all these people play with. Then when they pay good causes money, you take it to Abuja. It's like monkey they walk, baboon they chop. You know, so it can be, even by logic, which I think is part of jurisprudence in law. It can be, it's like standing logic upside down. So, and by law itself, constitutionally it's not right. So two ways you look at it, when they listen to the matter, we believe we'll have judgment. But the judgment that we have presently is good enough for us to exercise. And that has compelled the national body to come back. They have a new body now, a new management. I think after the case or whatever, they changed, the federal government changed the management, they have a new one who has seen sense in collaborating with state governments, particularly Lagos State, and he has extended the only branch to us. And we are saying, we are good for business, so long as you know your limitations and we know our limitations. We are good for business, so we are open to them. So once that is determined, our basis of operations will be better cleared, and we will work in line with what the law says we should work with. That's one area that we want to clear in the coming year, and we will benchmark ourselves on that when next we come back in here. And to create more awareness on online betting, which is a new emergence. It's the web-based betting, for those who are interested in the games of chance, and you know about it. Every weekend in the UK, in Europe generally, and the Americas, particularly North America, in Vegas, when games are on, big games are on, a lot of bets go on. This person will score first, that there will be so much of goals, 5 goals in this game. Like last night, I'm not too sure how many people will have bets, 4 goals, in a UEFA semi-final game. It's unprecedented and against the defending champion, in any case, so those are things that apply to games of chance, that, the league is open for everybody now. With Liverpool pull it back, bets will go on. In a single match, you can have up to about 59 bets, different bets. Who will score first? Which side will score first? On that side, who of the team members will score first? So a lot of bets go on regularly, even while the game is going on. So it's a based thing, and it's a big industry on its own. So your state is developing that right now, knowing fully well that the emotional investment, capital investment of emotions in sports, generally, particularly soccer in Nigeria, is very high. And that can translate into economy, big economy for our people. You know, so your state is looking at that because it's a state that wants our citizens, our residents to prosper. Improve capacity building of our personnel to catch up with the new trends of what is going on globally, intensify efforts to eradicate illegal gaming activities in the state. There are so many of that going on. We have issued so many licenses. People have taken interest in this gaming industry. Those who understand a lot of things I'm talking about, there's been an upsurge in the interest in it. So many businesses are coming up. Wherein before we used to have one or two people operating, in a year you could have about 20-something applications. We are now constrained to issue maybe about 3, about 5 to either the online scratch card and things like that. So we've done quite a lot. The import of all that I put in there is to show to you that interest in this sector is growing and growing very strongly. So, I mean, it's a business opportunity for those of you who are interested, and it's also an employment opportunity. It's not just because you want to make money, you're going to take a lot of people out of the streets and they will be employed. And in doing such, you are creating security around yourself. Because the more people are employed, the more secure you are. Those who do not have employment, you see how they recruit them from other areas, even within the country. Very easily they recruit them. And they become vessels of dishonor. Okay, I've spoken about the jurisdiction of lottery and legal affairs as a matter that we have in court. And all these are made possible through very strong inspectorate division of the Lagos State Lotteries Board. They have, I think, a retired military personnel, senior police, well, I will have to find in charge of that area, and they're combing the streets. People will comply voluntarily. Where they refuse to comply, we will enforce the law, and they will need to comply. So part of what we did last year was to have a stakeholder summit to act as a platform for feedback, to ask them, as your regulatory body, what are we doing that is hampering your business? What are we doing that is helping your business that you want us to do more of it? And we brought in so many diverse interests, those who sell the equipment from abroad, technical partners, those who have the money to invest, those who are looking at the industry, the agents, a lot of people from the background. And we had about 2-3 days summit at Protea Hotel in Ikeja there. It was a beautiful one. The outcome was an eye-opener for us. We also knew where we needed to put in more efforts to improve what their expectations from us are. They also know what we are expecting from them because the meeting of minds, and that has helped to progress that sector or subsector of the industry. We will have more of that as the need arises. It's not something that we have periodically stated that must go like this, but on need basis, we will continue to have it. Of particular interest that I want to read verbatim to you is the item that I have as 2.10, the Central Bank Directives. On January 16, 2013, the Central Bank of Nigeria published a directive to all designated non-financial business and professions. They call it the DNFB. I'm sure a lot of you sit there. You are aware of all this. To obtain a certificate of registration from the Special Control Unit of Money Laundering of the Federal Ministry of Trade and Investment before February 1st, 2013. The policy, which is aimed at checking money laundering and financial fraud in Nigeria, identifies the gaming industry, lottery, and sports betting as a DNFBE. In support of the policy, the board, the state board, has mandated all licensees and applicants to comply with the directive as a condition for operation in the state. So when they come for their new licenses, they must comply with this as a prerequisite. And if they're already in operation, when they come for renewal, they must show that they have complied with this anti-money laundering activity which the federal government is putting in place to check activities in that area. So clearly we are in support of that and we are enforcing it in the state. From all those coming out from the ports, the seaports, palleting goods all over the state, and it's predominantly a fee or a levy charged by the local governments and local development authorities. And time was that when you come back from Apapa ports, Apapa local government will hold you and say, hey, where your receipt? Then you show, I have paid. This is it, Apapa. Okay, Apapa. They let you go. As you move from Apapa, you get into Surulere local government. Local government, Surulere says, well, hey man, pay. You say, no, I've paid Apapa. I said, no, that's Apapa. This is Surulere. You're going to pay here. So before you get out from the state, you will probably pass through Apapa, Surulere, Yaba, Petro, and so on. And every local government, was a buster. And the state said, no, taxation is not like this. No. And it can't go on. And you know what? The worst part of it is not that they will stop you, gentlemen. You will find fierce-looking men with nails chained to some kind and ready to puncture your tires and everything. The state said, no, this can't continue like this. So the state sat down with the local government and said, look, we need to harmonize. Once these guys are paid in one local government, it is deemed that they have paid this levy and they have to pass through all the local governments. And they all agree that, okay, let's harmonize. And which local government is going to be in charge? They said, no local government should be in charge. Let the state be in charge on behalf of the local government. Form a body to manage it. The local government can be represented in that body, and that's how the Work Planning Fee Authority evolved, to manage the collection of that levy on behalf of the local government and pass it on to the local government at the end of the day. Now, so it's been on for a while, and we had also in this area a summit recently, wherein, especially with the wet cargo haulagers, the wet cargo haulagers are the people that deal with petroleum products, wherein they said because their own selling price is fixated, so any additional cost will be difficult for them. At that meeting, it was clear to them that they were just that's being forthright in one non-wanted body, and that's how the Work Planning Fee Authority evolved, to manage the collection of that levy on behalf of the local government and pass it on to the local government at the end of the day. Now, so it's been on for a while, and we had also in this area a summit recently, wherein, especially with the wet cargo haulagers, the wet cargo haulagers are the people that deal with petroleum products, wherein they said because their own selling price is fixated, so any additional cost will be difficult for them. At that meeting, it was clear to them that they were just that's being forthright in not wanting to pay, because how much do they pay? 500 naira on a 33,000 liter tanker. So how much is 1 liter of fuel? 97. Multiply that by 33,000. Spread 500 naira on that 33,000. What does it come to? Absolutely nothing. And today, what is 500 naira in dollars? About $3. Now, what is the flat rate? Those who are into oil, the flat rate as of today, forward rate for, this is March, forward rate for May, I think is about $101. So what would $500 or $3 do on a flat rate, which is the forward rate upon which you're going to buy one of that in the future in the month of May, due to that interest rate? So at that meeting, we had a meeting of minds, and they know that this money goes back to the provision of roads for them, the provision of security. So we resolved a lot of things at that meeting. I think tomorrow On Friday, they're having another meeting with me, just in continuation of their pledge to support, continue to support the move of the state in the management of this. They had also forgotten that in the past they were paying that, not just that 500 naira in one point, in so many points, and they were getting delayed. So if you do costing of the delay time to them, it was much more than the real, the opportunity cost of that added to the real cost that they were paying. If you put the two together, it was much more than what they think they are fighting against now. But you know our people, once you give them comfort, they won't comfort that. When you give them comfort that, they won't comfort this. So they keep going over here. Okay, and I've spoken about the revenue complaint unit, wherein it is a window generally for you and I as residents of this state to come and vent anything that you have against any bill, fee, charge, tax that has been levied on you by the state or local government that you don't feel too good and you have a basis to object on. Now, not feeling too good is not by intuition that I saw this bill, so I don't feel good about this bill. It has to be based on reasonableness and point of law. So for you to come. And then there is a listening here to look at it in all areas and then resolve the matter with any of the agencies involved. Their contact, if you are not aware of it, is located at block 19, room 217 at the State Secretariat, which is the budget building over there. They have some telephone numbers which I believe can be projected later on. The address, the full address, the email, the phone numbers will be projected later on for everyone to see, and then you can copy. The other agency that I would like to speak on is the agency of Mr. George Noah. George Noah is the MD of Lagos State Signage and Advertising Agency. This is an agency that I think in the last 2 years has been very dear to my heart because they've done something that is very noble, very, very much like making you feel that you are part of this world. A lot of you have experienced things, year crossovers for those who school abroad. You've seen year crossovers several times in so many cities. In the city of London, I think they gather at Trafalgar Square. But I know the Empire Building, in New York, and 31st is like everybody's heading towards that side, especially if you are in the northern part of America. So he came with the idea to ESCO about 2 years ago. ESCO wasn't too sure what he was trying to do, but your ESCO is a listening body. And we just because we don't understand, we don't shut down. Just because we don't understand. You must convince us, and you must give us, even if you convince us and we still do not understand, just give us an assurance that you know what you are doing, which was what he did. The first year was very good. He did it for 1 week, and he came back after it to do a post-event analysis, and the post-event analysis shows that they could still improve and do better, much better. So when they came back the following year, we gave them a month to go and do the event because we were very impressed, and it has always been good. I'm not too sure I take it on his behalf because he's a shy man. I'm not too sure many of you had the time to be part of that, of the 1 month long activity, particularly the 31st December to 1st January 2014. How they eroded it. Well, they come down from the church and they come down from the Babbage. Where do they, it's still a countdown. There is a countdown. So, Oniru, who is the Ologun of Ogun, we want them to come near the Babbage to come and do the countdown. It's very beautiful thing, So their activities have increased over the years, and they used to be somewhere, they were neighbors to Lagos State and internal revenue. Their activities increased, and that place could not take their activities anymore. So they had to look for a bigger location to operate from. So they have moved now to where they used to call the Eleganza building on, that's Bobolaki Johnson Avenue. Just this road along this line, the Eleganza building. bigger, spacious, and can take in their activities and the expansion that the business has taken them into. Good work they are doing in the place. They have they've done the beautification of the underpass in Magodo and so many other ones. And another novel thing that they have done was, I think you should ask him the question to expatiate more. I'm not going to be able to say it well because I'm not a professional in that area. But I recall when he came to present it, I took particular interest in it, and I asked him so many questions at Expo when he came for the presentation. Was the watermark advert thing, wherein you pass through the bridge and you see advert reflecting on water. I will confess I have not even seen it at all abroad. You know? But it's happening here in your country, not only in your country, in your state, Lagos State government. So they have come with so many firsts in terms of ideas and things like that. And that's why I'm fighting him regularly. He's coming with good ideas, but he keeps saying it's not enough. So they call that the African First Water Projection Advertising Flows of Lagos State. You can shed more light just for the education of people in here. Because once you know very well, it will help us to let people understand what it is. And that's why we think it's important to let you know. They are capturing every and all involved in the adverts industry. Military, police, civilians, business, commercial, everyone, government, they are capturing them. And their season will soon come. We're going into elections, we have posters and a lot of things will be going around. Their job will be with the Ministry of Environment to make sure when you do not have the permit, you can post. When you do not have the permit, no billboard must come on. When you have it, you must do it decently as they have laid out in terms of the landmass and where it needs to be. You recall the time was when the entire Lagos was defaced and littered with different kinds of billboards, posters, anyhow. That can't be anymore, and we must never go back to that. If we go back to that, this time next year, Judge Noah is going to be here. Please put him on the hot seat. Okay? I've talked about the second countdown, the adorable initiative. Now, one more thing I want to speak about for the Lagos State Signage Authority, this agency, is that I will read it verbatim. In the coming year, in fact, I think it's in the month of June, they're going to have the first ever something like a summit, but I'll read it verbatim. In realization of his mandate of promoting outdoor advertisement in the state, I'm reading from page 16 now, 6.9, section 6.9. The agency has set its focus on two additional activities. These are audience research, and then signage outdoor exhibition, anything like that. So, well, we will need to speak more about it because there is a retreat or an exhibition I'll call it that is planning to have in the month of June. It's the first in Africa, and a lot of people are coming worldwide for that thing. And I will yield the microphone for him sometimes. No, not now. No. He will speak about exactly the watermark and this one. I'll give him time to talk about it. Because I would like you as the gentleman of the press to have a first-hand, I'm sure they are still going to call a press conference especially for that, but please have a first-hand feel of what they are planning to do so you get prepared for it. You're going to receive a lot of visitors from outside the country. A lot of people have expressed interest to come to that event. And now, the last but certainly and clearly not the least agency that I'll be talking about is the Obe of Lagos, the Lagos State Internal Revenue. Okay, now they also, in line with our global focus of a fair and very efficient tax administration in the state, that has been the platform upon which they have been operating, and they will continue to operate. Our desire to develop Lagos State for your comfort does not mean that we want to task you we want to tax you, there is a difference between TAS and TASK. We are not taxing you. Our tax systems, all of them are based on established laws, and so we will be fair, but we will be efficient in the administration of all our tax laws. And that's the basis upon which NRS has operated. We continue to recognize those who understand these principles and comply voluntarily on their own fully, not partial compliance, to the tenets of the law of taxation as it relates to them, all taxes, payee, withholding tax, all forms of taxes that they are supposed to deal with, and they do it wholeheartedly, fully. Part of which was what we did at the 7th tax stakeholders conference that we had on the 16th of January. As per our tradition, we recognize those we needed to recognize. But now going forward, not just that we will be recognizing people that are fully compliant, we also will be recognizing from behind the glass. We will be blacklisting some people and we will be publishing it. When we know that these are chronic tax evaders and they've been proven to be tax evaders, we will let you people know that this man is not a good man. So when we are saying we have achieved all of this with the good people of Lagos State, you will know that that man is not part of the good people of Lagos State we are talking about. He's a bad man because he's been evading his taxes and he's been driving a Rolls Royce on the roads that you and I and the market women have contributed into the common pot to build. So that part of it we will go on with in the coming year. We also know that we one time or the other came in here and told you that we have started prosecuting tax defaulters. The good news that I have for you is that a lot of people that we have taken to court have seen their foolery for tax evasion. All the tax matters, I will allow the chairman NRS to take them. Sulaiman, you asked, specifically, this is going to be different from what we did last year. All the questions I took last year, but I want all the heads of agencies to take full responsibility now. So, land records, where I need to speak, I will speak. Land records company will take the matter on property tax. Work landing will be taken by Wale Musa. And casino operators, sanctions, sports betting will be taken by Lotteries Board. So either Becky or whatever. No, shoot. From Lassa.
The question from Adedoja. Yes, we all know that when there's election, there's always proliferation of posters, much more than we normally have. In fact, I must tell you that in Lagos right now, whether there's election or no election, 20,000 posters are illegally, put on walls across the state on a daily basis, and this is the kind of things that we have to remove. But we looked at it. And one of the things we're trying to do is to create special poster boards where it will be legal for you to go and paste your poster. That's the only place that we are allowed. Those poster boards are going to be located in different local councils and local council development areas. And details will be made very soon. But they will be such that, and this solution to posters, we found out, we did some research in some parts of Europe and in some parts of Asia. This is, how they responded, and we're trying to do the same thing. But as the essay said, we're not going to allow the state to be defaced as a result of the election, but you are only going to be allowed at designated poster boards where you can paste election materials. Details will be made very soon.
Chairman NRS, yes, that's my answer.
Thank you very much. Mr. Kazim from PM News. In the year 2013, 863 restraint cases were filed at the High Court of Lagos, out of which 413 orders were given for restraint, and we collected a total of 160 million from that effort. In terms of the current IGR of the state, it averages a little over 20 billion per month. And we also had an issue about our staff buying shares, etc., etc. There's no, I mean, I don't want to call it ridiculous, but nothing like that obtained. We have offices spread across Lagos. We have 38 tax stations. We have a head office. We have a head office annex. We have also an office for our staff people on tax audit. We also have many tax stations in all the major markets of Lagos, which account for over 40. So I don't know where that information could have come from. In fact, when it comes to staff welfare and capacity building, LIRS is one agency or one institution that even does a bit more than even private institutions. I was a banker before I joined Lagos State government, and I can tell you that even the banking industry that has the pride of preparing its staff, I believe LIRS has gone a step further. We have free tutoring for all our staff to pass their professional CI10 exam. We pay for the exam, and when they do pass, we also pay for the induction. And over the last 2-3 years, LIRS has produced the best overall winners in terms of prizes from CI10. So certainly, we believe that our staff are key assets in all that we do. Thank you very much.
Any chance to answer the question on the wharf landing?
Yeah, the wharf landing fee, we collect about an average of 16 million monthly. So in the last 1 year, it should be about 192 million.
Okay, the post-betting, to speak, casino operators and insurance, post-betting.
In respect of sanctions on lotteries, our sanctions varies. From illegal operators, we close them down, we go after them and shut down the operations. We also apply sanctions on our licensed operators if they fail to comply with our law, like late remittance.
Specifically, the question is how many casino operators were sanctioned, and the second one, sports betting.
Yeah. So for the lotteries, we were able to sanction just 3 of them for lotteries. And for revenue for sports betting for the year is a new industry. Yes. For sports betting industry is a new industry, and the expectation for this year is about 100 million revenue that we expect.
Yes. Next set of questions.
Some of the answers to the questions that you have asked are in the presentation that I gave. It's just that I ran through that presentation. I didn't go, so particularly for Kazim, most of the questions you asked, the answers are there in the presentation. Then for what he has said, it's an emerging, like I said, it's an emerging industry, so there is no reference record to give in terms of actual figures. Yes.
My name is Joshua Basai, Old East Residential. Still on the work landing, I want to say that I am personally observed, even though that number 9, like you say, it's no longer what it used to be, where